They are houses that are haunted, and they are houses that wait not for strangers, not for intruders. They wait for specific night or for specific season. And in rural Michigan, there seems to be a old farmhouse that wakes up every December. The farmhouse sat on a quiet road called Coral, built around the year 90s. It looked worn but harmless, the kind of a place that has survived too long to be threatened. A white wraparound porch hugged the front of the house, two front doors, and one back door. Close enough to the house to feel intrusive stood an abandoned red pole barn, no longer part of the property, but never truly separated it either. And hidden deep in the nearby woods, about a mile away, sat a small forgotten cemetery. Only a handful of headstones remained. One name could still be read clearly: Elizabeth. At the time, no one thought much of it. Inside, the house felt cold even during the warm months. Old panels covering the walls. The living room ceiling was unfinished, as if repairing had abandoned halfway through. Upstairs ceiling was stained yellow with mildew, frozen remains of neglect. It felt like a house that had never been allowed to rest. The first strange incident happened before anyone officially moved in. Photographs were taken during a walkthrough. Later that night, when the photos were reviewed, glowing orbs appeared floating in the master bedroom. There was no explanation, but there was also no panic. Not yet. One afternoon, while work was being done upstairs, the sound of the front door opening echoed through the house. Footsteps crossed the living room. They stopped at the base of the stairs. At first, it was assumed someone has entered, a landlord or maybe a visitor, but no one climbed up the steps. When the house was checked, it was empty. No door was open, no signs of entry, just silence. It was the first moment when the house felt aware. The knock began soon after. One afternoon, three people were in the basement, a cold concrete space with no windows, assembled only from outside. Someone upstairs was asleep. Suddenly, three loud knocks came from the ceiling above them. One of the men knocked back, more out of disbelief than fear. Whatever was above them knocked again. When they rushed upstairs, no one was there. The person who had been sleeping hadn't moved. From the moment on, the knocking was no longer ignored. The abandoned pole barn began to draw attention. One night, a strange sound came from inside it. Not an animal, not the wind. Later, the same night, a door inside the farmhouse slammed shut on its own. On another occasion, two people walking down the house saw a face staring out from the barn window. They both saw it. Shadows followed soon after. Tall, human shaped, they never ran, never reacted. They simply drifted away, dissolving into the darkness. Eventually, the small cemetery in the woods was discovered. Old, isolated, forgotten. Photographs were taken. Later, one image revealed a glowing white figure standing near the grave marked Elizabeth. Another visit was made after dark. For reasons no one can explain, a truck headlights refused to turn on. When they finally did, a woman stood directly in front of the vehicle, illuminated for only a second before vanishing. A voice followed, soft, faint, calling from the woods, "Come here." No one answered. They left. Christmas Eve 2017. Fresh snow covered the ground, the porch, and the road. Around 9 o'clock that night, four massive storms across the wraparound porch. Fast, heavy, violent. The entire house shook. Dogs barked uncontrollably. Flashlights were taken outside. There were no footprints, not a single mark in the untouched snow. That was the moment it became clear. Something shared the house. and it was strongest at the Christmas. After that night, the activities never stopped fully. Knocking echoed through the empty rooms, shadow crossed windows, tall figure passing by the doors, always just out of direct sight. Sometimes objects are thrown, sometimes decorations are flipped, sometimes nothing happens at all. But every December, the house felt awake, watching and waiting. No one knows what lives in their farmhouse, whether it's a spirit or something older. But one thing isn't certain. Some things doesn't just haunt places, they haunt seasons. And every Christmas the farmhouse remembers.